Hey guys, welcome back to the Mike Flory podcast. This is episode 2, where I interview Matthew Smith and Tommy Hendricks as they tell their harrowing story about being stuck on the summit of the Mount of the Holy Cross for 3 days while enduring a blizzard. This story is really crazy. At the time, they actually gained international media attention. They were featured on talk shows and even were featured on season 1, episode 11 of the TV show Alive, which is on Peacock. It's a great story. The audio quality is much better this time around, guys. It's still not perfect, so please bear with me, but please do not let it detract from this episode. It's a great conversation, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. So here it is, my interview with Matthew Smith and Tommy Hendricks.
Guess who just got back into town?
Tom just got back in town. Poor bastard had to drive, 5.5 hours to get here?
Yeah, more or less, dude. Like,
Crazy.
I mean, I live in Crystal, Colorado, so it's like 4.5 hours drive. Like, basically an hour drive up a 4x4 road, 6 miles.
How high are you up in the mountain?
Well, I live at like 9,000 feet, dude. So I mean, it's literally like it's up there, dude. When I was just working, we just finished pushing up the top of the line, and I was running a saw, like a 45-pound saw, like at 10,800 feet.
Bro, do you climb the
But it's
trees
still
to cut them
500
down?
or something?
I have not right now though. Like
You have them now, though?
yeah, I'm just felling trees right now.
Bro.
Yeah, dude, him and I've been doing arborist for together since high school.
Oh, no,
Because we were rock climbers, we already understood all the rope systems and mechanical advantage systems you could create to essentially fell wood and side hustle.
It's also a lot easier to get paid to climb trees than it is to climb rocks. But
Bro, isn't that one of those dangerous jobs in the world?
yeah,
Climbing trees?
it's like right up there with like mining and like
Well, and
rig.
he used to do the line clearance.
Yeah,
So trimming around the power line.
that's actually how I cut my teeth in the industry, man.
Are you fucking serious?
I used to work for Asplin, which is the nationwide largest company for utility line clearance, right? So essentially what these guys do is, it started off, I'm pretty sure, as a bet, like, hey, I bet you can climb that tree next to that power line without getting shocked and do it faster than you can. So this company started like way back in like, I think 1912, like when the Titanic sank, dude, like right around that same time.
Was that year?
I'm pretty sure. Might have to fact check it, but regardless, like, they've been around for a while, and you know they're nationwide, and they have kind of like taken the industry standard and gone actually global now. They're in New Zealand and Canada.
Well,
And-
they brought him up to Alaska.
Well, yeah. So like I
That was-
started
that
in
was
Colorado
the-
Springs
right.
here, and then I moved to Lake George with them, and
Yeah.
you know I got a wild hair in my ass, and I saw they had something in Alaska, and I was like,
How old were you when
Go
you
to
got
Alaska.
that?
I was last year, so I was 20. I was on my 23rd birthday.
Holy shit.
Actually, I turned 24 up there.
So did you move up there? Or was
Yeah.
this a
And
temporary?
they got there for you.
Yeah,
A
I
year, dude.
drove all 3,200 miles.
Made no money too. He was making really good money.
Yeah,
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
like, I mean, I was probably pushing like upwards of like 90.
Where were you living?
I was based out of Anchorage and Palmer area.
So were you right outside of Anchorage, like near the city?
Yeah, so I was like this place called like Raspberry Lake, Slows Lake area, which is pretty much right on like the Cook Inlet and like the Pacific Ocean, and then you also have like all the Chugach Range right there. Incredible mountain biking, beautiful scenery, 360 degrees.
Oh, how was the scenery?
I was trying to get up there to go salmon fishing with him when he moved back down.
Oh, you told me that.
Uh,
So you've gone salmon fishing up there?
Yeah, in the Russian River, man.
caught like 80 pounds.
Are you
Yeah,
serious?
yeah, I can show you a picture, man. It's literally like 80
How
pounds
did you
of
get
salmon.
them back?
He's got like two streams of fish, just going past his elbows,
Yeah.
like, down to his knees, just holding him. Maybe now it is his waist. A lot of fish.
I have this on my favorites, man, because like it's
There's
one of my
salmon
favorite
in
memories
Colorado.
ever.
Is there?
Apparently,
Interesting.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Like, look at
that
this.
fishing.
Oh my god.
Dude, I was just after like 4 hours.
Yeah.
Like,
Did you ship those back to you? How did you get them back to you?
yeah, so my roommate, Lucas, he's a really cool dude. He basically, his dad is a huge angler. Like, it's all his life. Every year he goes to like the Russian, goes to the Kenai Peninsula, Seward, Homer, wherever. and he has a vacuum sealer. So he literally vacuum sealed all this filleted fish that I got, and I was able to use like cold like milk cartons and like freeze those. Bought a cooler, duct taped the shit out of this cooler, and just shipped
That's
it.
how you're going.
Yeah, just like this is my checked bag. And they're like, what is it? It's like salmon. It's like, oh, okay, one of these again. So it literally just rode in the cargo space of this plane. And I brought it back down for my birthday, and we had that for my birthday dinner. And that was the first time my family never had.
How good was that, dude?
It was so good.
Like, you buy salmon at the grocery store, it's good.
Nice.
And that was after being shipped too.
But, like, it's uncomparable, man. It's the freshest tasting fish you've ever
It's
had.
that much better.
It's like,
Absolutely.
Really?
it's like night and day. There's no comparison, dude.
Dude, I'll have to get. I'm going to elk hunting starting next weekend.
Nice.
So if I get some, I'll have to give you guys some.
Okay. Bro, I can get that liver, dude.
I'm honestly, dude.
Honestly, dude, yeah.
I would.
I'll take the heart of the
I'm
stomach,
tempted
man.
to like. Well, I'll eat. I'd like to eat it straight, but there are cases of chronic wasting disease.
I don't think that's possible in humans, though, isn't it?
You don't want to eat game that has GW.
Wouldn't that be obvious?
Huh?
Wouldn't that be obvious?
No, as far as I know, they're actually working on something that you no longer have to access the brain in order to do the testing. It's always been you have to access the animal's brain to do the test.
Isn't there obvious like signs of it though? Like their physical appearance looks a little.
They're
the-
more good at it.
Wait, so are you saying this is like that movie? Have you guys seen that movie?
The
Like,
elk in this area look good. I've been out there, and so I was out there 2 seasons ago.
have you guys seen this movie I'm talking about though?
zombie movie?
No, it's like this weird. I think it's called like Annihilation or something like that. It's basically where these people like go into this world, and there's like this like thing they call like the it's not they call the Expanse, but it's like something like it, and then like there's just this like alien world that exists like on Earth, and it might be called the Void or something, but like basically all the trees just start growing like these weird like funguses. They start like illuminating like bright LED colors and like
Avatar?
no.
I think you're describing.
It's too painful. So we see Avatar. We're all messed up, you know. We're all
And like 5 feet of steep, yeah.
Are you serious?
This movie? Have you seen Avatar 2? Oh my god.
Avatar 2: The Way of Water.
Is it good?
Movie. It's doped up Planet Earth,
Bro,
man. It's
I
all I'm saying.
haven't seen the first Avatar.
Whoa, you gotta see it, man.
I actually just rewatched the first Avatar, man, when I was in Aspen last weekend.
Wait, you were in Aspen?
Yeah.
I was in Aspen 2 weekends ago.
Nice.
Climbing Pikes Peak last weekend.
Nice.
He didn't want to give me the ride.
Oh, yeah, dropped you guys off.
Yeah, me and Olivia.
Yeah, I was literally in Aspen with like my friend Anna and 2 friends who were up from Indiana, and dude, we had a wild night. We went to only 3 different bars. First bar we went to was this place called Silver City, and you know we're playing some pool, whatever, hanging out. End up talking to this guy from Florida. He's like trying to convince me
Here we go.
and Anna.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
From Florida.
He's trying to convince me and my friend Anna to like come down with him to go on his yacht. And we were like, all right, okay. I mean, yeah, I'll go mess around on a yacht, whatever. Well, this guy says, I'm going to go head over to the next bar called Escobar. And so, like, okay, cool.
Called Escobar?
Yeah. Classy, huh?
That's great.
It's literally the weirdest like
Yeah,
bar
I
I've
wish
ever
it
been
down
to.
that.
Like, this bar is literally like the inside of like a 737. Like they converted a 737
dude.
and brought it downstairs, and it's just like this ultimate rave hall. And we walk in and we see this guy in the far back corner behind the DJ in the VIP section, and we're like, what the hell? And this guy's literally getting bottle service, right? And we were getting trashed off of like cheap 818 tequila, man.
Oh my god, dude.
Like I think we went through like 8 different bottles that night, just there alone. Not to mention like the 4 or 5 drinks we had at Silver City. Well, and then after a few hours past there, you know, we're like pumping, we're dancing, going to the DJ, whatever, requesting songs. I told them to play some Daft Punk. Everyone was going absolutely wild. Well, everyone decides we want to go to another bar, so we go to this place called Sterling. We order a couple drinks there, and, you know, whatever. It's like 2:30, 3 o'clock, night's ending, and we had to hit this condo that we were staying at, like, within like a 5-minute walk from downtown Aspen. And all my friends are a little further up ahead. I'm like a little far back. I'm like looking at the stars. Like I'm obviously pretty drunk, and like I was like, oh shit, I gotta catch up to him. So like I start to run a little bit, and like my foot like collapses in on myself because my cowboy boots are so worn. And then I hit a curb, dude, and I caught myself, and I totally just ripped off my pinky nail, dude. Like, full on ripped it off, dude. Like, the most random thing ever.
Are you always getting hurt like this kid is?
No, dude. Like, I'm actually pretty
I'm
conscious.
lucky. I only got half of 3 ripped off.
Every time I see Matt, he's got a new skull ripped.
Look at this sucker.
Bro, you should have seen his forehead. The fucking look that goes.
I don't doubt it, dude.
Dude, the fucking scooters, man. Like the fucking scooters.
Bro, my boys.
Dude,
My boy
I was cruising home, a little tipsy, a little been drinking Benzo with chicas at the bar. I'm cruising home on the sidewalk.
He's riding those
big
green
old parking
scooters.
lot.
Yeah, dude.
I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna
The lime scooters, dude. Those
I'm gonna do
things.
my thing in the parking lot, right? So I'm gonna zip right over. You know, it was a even transition between the sidewalk and the parking lot. So I go over, boom. There was a chain link going between 2 parking barricades. I clotheslined it, dude. I clotheslined it. I woke up. I didn't know what was up, what was down. My head was throbbing, blood everywhere. And for 5 minutes, I just eventually I got up on my knees and I was like, "You gotta think here. You can't like if you're so messed up that you're gonna die. You gotta call 911." But if you start to feel better, you need to scooter your ass home. Well, I felt better after about 5-6 minutes, maybe 7. And I scootered with like blood dripping over, my eyelids.
That must have been a
Like, if
sight to
anyone
see,
saw
bro.
this,
Oh,
dude.
my God.
I come home, I wake up,
Matt.
and two, like my clothes were covered in blood, so I stripped naked. So I wake up naked with all this blood in my hair and everything.
Bro, this kid came out with me to the bar the next day, and my boy Cody was there. Remember that with Cody? And my boy, he mentioned it the next day. He's like, "Bro, what the fuck was wrong with Matt's head?" I was like, "It's a long story, bro. He's on a scooter."
And then, like, what was it, like a week prior to that, dude? We were up in Twin Lakes. And
Yeah,
I let
that's
you
why I
ride
ripped
that
out my
bike.
finger.
Yeah,
and
you
then
totally, like,
I
ripped
bruised
off
my
your finger.
ribs and got this laceration. This thing's massive. This was 2 weeks
I
ago.
swear, dude.
But
You almost got your nipple. You're lucky it wasn't like
dude,
another inch
there
up.
was a tiny little scratch on it, and that was one of the most sensitive spots.
Yeah, I don't doubt it, dude.
Yeah,
You wear areola?
So, by the way, Mike, thank you for doing the podcast, sweet. This is really cool.
Yeah, thanks for having us
Tell
on,
me
man.
how to think this is sick, man.
Oh, bro,
You're,
fuck yeah.
you're a great podcaster, dude. You're
Dude.
so good. We're really honored just to be like your second, right, Colin?
Yeah, second, I think, right? You guys
Second,
one of them
yes.
prior to this?
Well, dude, this is just kind of a work in progress. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just talking to people I think have interesting stories. I talked to my buddy Cody about his time in Afghanistan. I want to sit down with you guys. And I'm going to talk about that fucking time you guys got lost on the mountain, dude.
Yeah, that was
Absolutely is a wild part of our lives, man. At least for me, I know. And I think they
This
can
is
speak
a
from
wild
that on
time.
that, too.
My life has been a wild time since I met Tommy.
Was it Tom's idea?
Well, no, it was simply
kind of,
because we
usual,
both
kind of both parties.
found another climbing partner who was willing to go really out on the edge. Because we were doing hard stuff at an early age.
Yeah,
Really hard stuff.
Like, my sophomore year, here's
We got our
freshman year.
driver's licenses, dude, and we were gone.
Yeah,
That was it.
exactly.
That was it. Yeah.
Like, my sophomore year in high school, I met Matt his freshman year. We were both on the climbing team, right? So, like okay.
Like gym climbing.
Yeah.
Like, this dude's legit. Like, he's actually climbing hard routes here in the gym, and, he's on the competition. He's putting up steep routes, and he's placing in, like, the competition. So I'm like, okay, this dude's legit, like,
And,
well,
and also a very important factor too. Most people who go to the gym, they boulder or they top rope. where the rope is already at the top of the climb. Lead climbing is where you have to put the rope up as you go up. Tom was the only other person who knew how to lead climb because he had been outdoor climbing.
Really?
With his father,
Yeah.
God bless him, Herb Hendricks, who was a very well-accomplished alpinist. And I'd also like to mention, too, and Tom can elaborate more on this because it's so important also within his effect as Tom's father within the story that you want to talk to us about. But he put up several of the routes in God of the Gods in Colorado Springs.
No way.
And people have called bullcrap on him. We have a good friend. His girlfriend bought him one of the original copies of the desert rock climbing routes back from like 1982, I think, or something around then. An original publishing, right? First year edition. And Herbie Hendricks was mentioned.
No
So-
way.
And he's been
In two
validated.
occasions out there too, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, so my dad put up the first ascent on Ancient Art, which is in the Fisher Towers,
Okay.
via a route called the Hippie Route. He did it with, if I'm not mistaken, Jimmy Dunn, Peter Croft.
These are really notable climbers.
Yeah.
By the way. Like Stuart Green has done an excellent job. Not so much when it comes to some of Herb's time spent in Colorado, but you can go and look at his writings that he's done with Falcon Guide and stuff like that, and these names are right there in the books, just like Tom's dad.
Wow.
So we really, and I came from a position where I grew up a block away from one of Colorado Springs' honestly best climbers, and that's this guy named Pete who owns Geronimo. I'd come over there with cash I'd save up from doing whatever. I'd walk over there, and he'd get me to use like trad gear and stuff. He explained trad to me, explained lead climbing. I got a lot of used gear that he knew was safe for me, and I got to know him and his employees to help me learn. We got to, so Tom and I grew up from like these.
So this
really-
neighbor of yours kind of showed you the
He owned a
ropes.
business.
Quite literally,
Yeah,
yeah.
quite
Literally showed you the ropes.
Yeah, quite literally, yeah. And both Tom and I instantly clicked when we first hung out. We went and camped on my grandparents' property up in Crystal Park, and we just like chilled up there and had a fire, just a good time. And then
Casually
soon-
ripping my hash brown and getting higher than a kite.
Occasionally.
No, non-stop. It was, when he was talking with the mothership, it was nuts.
So
it was,
shit, dude.
yeah, we got out there. And then there was a boulder there that I developed a little V3 bouldering route on. So I was like trying to do that at one point. It was, yeah. And then we went and we did like hard aid climbing the next day.
On
Hard aid
on
climbing.
Magog, dude.
What does that mean?
On Magog.
So-
What's egg climbing?
Yeah, so
There's
we need
multiple
to
different types of
explain-
climbing.
Yeah, we really need to climbing. People, okay, I think Tom can really explain this well, but I want to preface how he explains climbing with this. Climbing is misunderstood because there's so many different types of ideas of climbing. If you're a climber, a true climber, that means you do all climbing.
Okay.
There's tons of climbing. You go bouldering, you go trad climbing, you go hard aid climbing, you go alpine climbing. You
Go sport climbing.
sport climbing,
Bouldering.
ice
I thought there was
climbing,
just climbing.
Ice climbing,
yeah,
ice
exactly.
climbing,
See, most
multi-pitch
people do, but,
climbing.
like,
right?
And that's nuts and bolts. So like like Matt said, it's all encompassing. So like you have like the basis of it where you like you might start out as a kid, you start climbing on trees, right? You start to get the feel of it. But when you actually start to get in like rock climbing is kind of like the kind of antithesis of the introduction to all things climbing. So
Okay.
like once you start getting into rock climbing, you typically start like bouldering or like sport climbing, which is where you like taking quick draws and kind of clipping them into already fixed hardware like
Yeah,
bolts
yeah.
and pitons, like
Yeah.
Yeah,
garden.
and that would be referred to that style of climbing where you have to go up where the rope is not already pitched, whether that's sport or trad is referred
Yeah.
to as
lead
lead,
climbing.
Lead
yeah.
climbing.
because you're the one leading the rope up.
Right.
That's a leader.
That's it.
Quick side note of that, like whenever we're climbing in garden, like it's almost inevitable. Every time we're there, people end up watching us, and they ask us after they've watched us the entire time, "That was amazing. How'd you guys get the rope up there?"
We tell them we train the pigeons.
Yeah, we have the pigeons trained to fly up there and clip it for
Is
us.
that what you guys tell me?
Yeah.
Don't you need like permits to do that? And
Yeah,
Or
we
so,
do have
yeah,
to
nowadays
follow
you
the
do,
free
yeah.
permit.
but you didn't used to?
A
Didn't
long
used to-
time ago. But
long
in,
time
our,
ago.
in our lives, you've always had.
Yeah. Like in the glory days, like the 60s and 70s,
just go
80s.
in there?
You just go in there, man, because all the Rangers.
just checking other people because I see in the gates it says to only come in here
Well, those
for
were
training.
Those were installed because of us. We needed to go party up there at a place literally.
No way.
Literally
No,
called
no,
High Point.
called
Yeah.
High Point. Garland to God's Park, doing this spot, High Point. It's a great overlook point on the south end of Garland to God's as you're coming out onto Pikes Peak down low.
Yeah.
And we go up there and go fucking crazy. And once they repaved it,
What do you mean by party?
dude, we go get slamming drunk, high.
top?
40,
you guys were
40, 50 people all bumping music.
top of your rock?
No.
No, it's like a big parking lot.
Okay.
A party
Yeah.
like you guys were saying.
Whoa.
Well, we
Matt,
got
I know,
just,
no, no,
just
you get
us
high.
two.
Yeah.
Just us two, yeah. Yeah. That's on the low.
That's on the low though.
That's on the low.
But like, if you guys went into Garden of Gods and climbed tomorrow, like who's gonna stop you while you're on your way up?
No.
No, who's gonna check on your way down?
Well,
If anyone would check, it would be a ranger.
Yeah.
They would just ask, like, hey, if you guys stole your permit, like, cool, looks like you guys already have all your gear. You look like you know what you're
What
doing.
if you didn't have a permit?
Then you're in trouble. You get in trouble, you get a fine.
You're like, rightfully so. They're asking you to fill out a free permit, just obey the general rules. And you know what? I'm all for that.
I heard it was hard to get permits for.
No.
It's not.
All you do is literally
You
go on.
need to guide there. There's only one company he used to guide from.
Yeah,
that's what it was. Yeah,
There's only one company allowed to guide there.
That's Front Range Climbing Company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shout out to Front Range, it's a great company.
Yeah.
Used to be run by a good friend of mine, and now is run by a guide who's based out of Alaska and Wyoming. Shout out Alaska. Shout out Alaska.
Oh, that's good, dude. For the record, Tommy's got Alaskan plates that say Tommy.
I do. Yeah.
For the record, Tommy has Alaskan plates that say Tommy, but he doesn't like to be called Tommy.
True. Yeah.
From that Tommy.
I can. I introduce myself to new people as Tom because I think Tom is a little bit more like official.
That was
I thought you preferred
That's
Tommy.
your
license
license
plate say Tommy.
That's just a quick add.
Look at the license plate in 3 letters, bro. You know?
The license plate isn't 3 letters, but like, when someone's close to me and like, I think they're a chill person, yeah, they can call me Tom because like, that's like,
I
just
just
how they
used to
know
call him Tommy, but I don't call him Tommy anymore.
You started calling me Mikey like a month ago.
Yeah, sometimes I just feel like you're Mikey. I'm like, what's up, Mikey? How you doing, Mikey? No, listen, I'm excited about Mikey. Mikey's
It's funny because nobody has ever called me Mikey, but you seem drawn to it.
I think I don't know, like you're dude. That's why you're a good podcaster, man. You're
Because
like
I can't call
you're a chill person, man. You're like-
All right, so let's get to that story, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
what?
So
this was just like an average climb for you guys at this point, right? You guys have done harder shit than the Mount of Holy Cross at this point.
yeah,
So this wasn't anything. This was like a no big deal. We're just gonna climb this 14.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and we knew it was early season too, but we'd done early season supper and it was fun.
So you guys started climbing. Everything's fine. Like
It was early season. We had picked like a date that we both had off from school. Like it was Thanksgiving break.
you guys were both still in high school.
Yeah, and our plan, it was my senior year and his junior year, and we had picked like, I believe the week of November 20th through the 22nd was our date. Well, we had a 2-day trip, 1 night planned, and it ended up turning into...
So we had planned for the 20th and the 21st.
Yes, 20th and 21st. Yeah.
And that was a Sunday.
And so describe this climb. How long?
For the record, what was interesting is this past season I was up there, and it was the first time that not only the dates coincided, but the actual dates. So it was Sunday the 20th. We had planned to ascend the mountain, come back down on the 21st, and potentially, if it was a long day, hike out on the morning of the 22nd. But we had no intention of being stuck there till the 23rd, and that's the day we got arrested. That was in the
So
afternoon.
what's the normal height? How many miles?
Well, the normal hike.
The normal hike is you go up to Broken Hand Pass,
Okay.
and that starts at the trailhead right at the top of Tigawon Road.
Okay.
Which Mount Holy Cross is the most northern peak in all the Sawatch Range in Colorado.
Yeah.
And
Like near Leadville and like more mid-charting battle is works real close to.
Yeah. But so our plan was to do it in 2 days, one night. We started hiking at the trailhead right about like you say like 3:34, right?
Yeah, because we drove up there and we knew we could get up over the pass.
We were like Patricia.
Oh, well, no, we didn't even go there. We just wanted to get, because you got to understand, there's established campsites. Once you, I could bring the topo map out if you'd like us to, but once you get up over the saddle, you drop down into a valley where there's a creek, cross creek, right?
Okay.
And there's campsites there. And that's where we camped. And I'm not exactly sure, but I know it's less than 3 miles to get there.
Yeah.
It's less than 3 miles to get there, and that's where our base camp was.
Okay.
So we went there and strung our hammocks, made a fire, and chilled.
Ate some food. Yeah.
Ate some food, just like had a good time, of course. And I will say for the record, we had this good kush we were smoking. This is just such a part of the story. I'd like to talk. We didn't have a great apparatus with which to smoke this marijuana, okay? It was a little wooden pipe I had in. And the moment we lost that thing, couldn't smoke the pot anymore. It seemed like everything just went awry.
It's hot. True.
I'm just going to put that out there. When we
100%.
lost that thing and stuff.
Once we lost that,
stuff.
we started losing shit. We lost the hot cocoa thermos that we had.
Moment we got
it
sober.
just got
it
bad.
Were both of you guys losing things, or was it Matt losing things?
No, he lost the shit. I lost some trekking pole and some socks.
I lost some socks up there too. They're still up there. Guarantee it.
He lost his socks. He lost the goggles.
Socks too.
We'll explain that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
wait, how?
We hike in. Like we get to the trail at like 3:00 that
Okay.
Sunday. We hike in. We get to the base camp. We camp. We spend the night. We wake up. Make a little bit of breakfast. Maybe we had coffee. I can't.
mind you, I tried to wake his ass up at like 4:35.
I
He likes to sleep in a lot.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to start
You're an
until
early
like
bird,
6:30.
right?
Well, yeah, because you got to get off by start, man.
Yep.
You got a big long hike you got to go do, and our plan was to go up the Holy
How
Cross.
long was that hike? And so
It's in total back to from trailhead to trailhead. What is it?
I don't know.
10 miles?
I would have to check.
that's not Puck's Peak.
Well,
It's 12 miles. You can do that in a
let
day,
me,
right?
let me
It's a
say
long
this
day,
too.
yeah.
Most people, once you get to the base camp, where you get to the intersection of Cross Creek, most people continue on forward on that trail, right? And they go up the northern ridge of Holy Cross to the summit. We didn't do that. Okay, we're now bushwhacking along the creek to above timberline in the valley below the northern ridge to get to the Holy Cross couloir. That's why this mountain is so famed, is because the couloir, which is essentially like a deep crevasse on the side of the mountain.
Okay.
It's a
This
less
couloir,
version of a route.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then with the way the rock sits at the top, there's snow rests atop this like kind of almost ledge, very steep but not as steep ledge, and it's an across.
Right.
We want to go incline the vertical portion of the cross, which is like it's got to be like 1,000 feet.
Oh, dude, I'd say it's like 2,000 vertical feet elevation.
I don't know if it might be a lot more. But you do, you actually climb like 4th class rock, and by 4th class, you gotta understand there's something called the Yosemite decimal.
This is what we were starting to explain earlier, but we got sidetracked. So,
Yeah, and that's
the YDS system is something that was developed in Yosemite in the early 70s.
Yeah, I believe so.
And basically, it defines like you have class 1, 2, 3, and 4. Basically, class 1 is like your average hike. You're walking around. Yeah, there's some little rocks and shit you have to like step over. Class 2 is like it's a little bit bigger terrain. You're kind of walk on. It's a little steeper. Class 3 is where you might have to like kind of start to like, okay, I got to pay attention to my footing, and like the terrain is extensively increased. Class 4 is like
You might get ropes involved, class 4.
yeah, you might want to start getting some ropes.
You fall, you could die.
Yeah, like you're gonna have to start using your hands to kind of move around. Class 4.
Class 5.
Class 5,
vertical
you
rock.
have to start using ropes.
It's
Because
vertical rock.
if you fall, you will start to fall.
And
or
if
get
you go
serious.
without
Okay.
ropes, that's called free solo.
Yep.
But if you free
That's
a
crazy.
but hear this out. If a climber says I freed a route, that doesn't mean they free soloed it. That means that they freed it, not aided it.
That means that they
Freed it
use
means
only
they
their
only
hands
use
and
their
feet
hands and feet
with
to move them up.
protection. Where they use their hands and feet with rope to climb a rock.
I see.
Yeah.
But free solo
Aid is when it's so
is
difficult.
where they just climb with their hands and feet, no protection.
Yeah.
Aiding is a whole different thing. Because
That's
like,
when you actually put things in the rock and you'll attach like a webbing ladder and you'll step up in it and you'll put another one step up in it and you're actually using your gear to like move up on
Make
it instead
direct
of balancing
progress,
on the rock. So if someone says they freed it, which we'll mention freeing it because at one point we stepped over onto the rock on the class 5 rock and began freeing about 1,000 feet up, 1,200 feet up.
well, we actually free soloed that.
We did free solo. We free solo that. We had protection.
Yeah. But
we essentially made our way past Lake Patricia.
So let me get back to you guys lost a lead plate.
Along our way to the
On your own.
to the where do you go along
the
the
muleteers.
So you guys camped
Basic
out.
couloir.
You guys camped out before you tried to make the summit, right?
Yep, we
So
camped Sunday night.
describe that
Now,
day.
This is Monday day.
Describe that day. You guys woke up.
we woke up around like, I woke up at like 4:30.
Okay.
Matt woke up around like 5:30. We started rolling out after making some oatmeal and some breakfast, eating some granola bars, whatever. At like 6 o'clock, 6:15, we were hiking.
Yeah.
And, you know, our plan was, okay, it's probably going to take us about 4 or 5 hours tops to get up this couloir. So we'd be up there at the summit by about like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and
And
we underestimated how long it would take to get to where you enter in from the Bowl of Tears, which is essentially an area where all the snow melt collects and it forms this like glacial
lake.
line.
Yeah.
Yeah, like a lake, and they call it the Bowl of Tears. And once you reach there, that's right below the vertical portion of the cross couloir.
At around like
That's where-
12,500.
That's where you climb up some rock, and then you have this spot where it's not too steep, and you can actually get into the couloir about maybe 300-400 feet of rock climbing to get kind of class 3 climbing to get into this couloir.
So you guys.
Would you say 300?
Yeah, 3-4 under max. Yeah.
So you guys wake up that morning. You had your breakfast and you guys head out. And so what's that first portion like? You guys, everything's fine in the mornings.
Yeah.
Weather's fine.
It was
Super light, weather's fine.
it was artsy.
Very artsy.
We were taking time to take photos. I had a DSLR camera. He had a notebook. We really were. We found such a
Sense of tranquility and peace. Yeah.
yeah. There's a reason we went out there to go, and we boys.
And so you guys are having a good time as you're climbing. And then as you're climbing.
And we're hiking. It's deadfall. You have to step over broken logs. We're trying to get up the creek. And mind you, everything's like frozen. You kind of snow to.
So at what point does things turn south? So does weather come in out of nowhere? As you guys
Well, so we started hiking up the couloir, and we realized that conditions are kind of subpar.
And I
less
feel like
than
we
we
need to
thought.
talk about what we
Did you
knew about
guys-
the weather beforehand.
Yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
So the weather we had knew beforehand. Want to go like ice?
At Popeyes.
I'll take those.
I'm gonna go get some ice for us. But we had looked up the weather some, right? And from what we understood, late on the 21st is when the storm would be rolling in. Late on the 21st. So we were pushing.
called Mountain Forecast.
Okay.
And we had looked at Mountain Forecast and saw there was this weather window for Sunday, Monday, there where it looked really sunny and it was going to be really good climate conditions, only light wind, no snow,
Yeah.
no precipitation. And so okay, cool, we got some opportunity. Well, we start climbing up this couloir, and we start to see some like high stratus clouds roll over. Like, okay, that's natural, whatever. And come around like 12:31, we're still in this couloir, we're only about like halfway up because we didn't think that there was going to be the amount of snow that there was, or if the snow that was there we anticipated for, it was going to be more consolidated than it was.
And for a while it was firm. We were able to kind of easily, put our toes to it and go up.
What's that called when you go through snow?
It's a boot pack. That's boot pack.
There's another term for it.
That's boot packing, buddy. When you're doing up a couloir like that, you're just going up and boot packing it.
No, like when your foot pulls through the snow.
Postal
Post hole.
That's it.
And we began to post hole.
And so as you guys are going up, the weather gets worse and worse. Like what happens?
We begin to notice it. It's kind of hard to notice too, because
Yeah.
keep in mind, they're no couloir.
You're
So
on the
you have
mountain.
huge-
I don't know what that's.
So imagine you're on snow at about a 60-degree angle, 65-degree angle. You're on snow, and then about 10 feet to your right is big granite rock that extends almost perpendicularly to the snow out about 40 feet and then disappears off in the distance, and the same thing is on the left side. You're in a gouge.
I see.
The couloir is basically like an avalanche.
And you look
So,
down
like,
and
it's
it's
like-
super steep.
It's a
hundreds
crevasse.
of
It's
feet.
not a crevasse. It's like a crack in the mountain. It's a natural depression in the mountain, like where the snow accumulates. You know, that's like what skiers ski down.
It's like a crevasse within a steep mountainside.
but it's not a crevasse per se.
Where's that? What? Jamie.
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 But we'll
Here, we got
his exact definition of
because it's important for you to see kind of what we are going. Here, I mean, I think we might have show.
This is
There's
medical
a
like cross
photo of Boulder Cross in there.
right here.
Bro, I almost can't break that because I see what you're saying.
So you see how like in this couloir right here, right? Like you start to go up.
So it's really like a V
Yeah,
into the mountain, just like a little V.
exactly. Sure. And so we climbed all the way up this snow patch right here.
Would that not be the most difficult trail?
It's definitely the most difficult route on the mountain, probably. Like the defined route. Most difficult established route, probably. Yeah. Because other people have climbed the Cross Couloir. It's a very popular ski line, and you know it's a popular ascent for sure. But you know, as we're starting to climb up in this couloir and get about halfway up, we start to notice the weather changing, and you know, but it's hard to see this weather changing because you're in that valley, kind of, if you will, and well, you know. 4 o'clock rolls around, we're still in this couloir. It's taken us about 8 to 10 hours to get up to probably 12,800 feet because full Holy Cross
Yeah,
is
maybe a bit higher.
a little bit higher than 14,000.
Maybe
about like
maybe at
14.
that point, dude, we were probably more like 55. Yeah, at 4 o'clock, we were more. We were closer to the sun. We had gone about roughly 2/3 of the way up, I would say, if not a bit more. If we had gone from a further snowpack to where like waist deep and like we can't charge through this.
Right.
Realistically, like going down this is not feasible.
Yeah,
So you guys couldn't turn around or anything.
And we were like,
we didn't
mind
bring
you,
our icicles with us at this time. 'Cause I don't think that we would really per se need them.
and mind you too, like we had minimal climbing gear. We had been very into this mindset of you gotta understand, like we looked up to guys like Dean Potter and Yuli Steck, who would go way up into the mountain, really far out there with very little. Just let it go fast and just go. And the philosophy behind that is less weight equals the faster time, which therefore is less time spent in elements equals
Right.
less risk. And so we had left our sleeping bags, we had left our main backpacks. Essentially, what we had with us was all of our layers that we had brought, in addition to some food, of course, like water,
Granola bars,
you know,
salmon.
granola bars, salmon,
But this is
technical
supposed to be
climbing
up and
equipment.
down.
We had
Yeah.
harnesses on. We had a 30-meter rope with us.
So,
we had
yeah, our-
nuts. We had
Our plan was to climb up
like,
like
we had
across
some stuff.
Couloir, and our plan was to come down Halo or
the
North Ridge, and swoop back down around Lake Patricia, grab our gear, and hike
Or
out.
not like Patricia. Like
Well, here.
Patricia's no. Once you go down to picture my arm is the northern ridge, right? And this way is north. Here's the northern ridge and here's the summit of Holy Cross, right? You come down here, here's the base camp. Here's the Patricia.
Okay.
Here's the Bullet Tubes. here's the Holy Cross couloir to the summit, right? Our idea was we base camped here, where most people normally go up the northern ridge. We hiked along the valley and then came up the couloir, and our intention was to go down this ridge, but we ended up going down this ridge.
So you guys are climbing up, and the weather starts to look weird. What time was that?
It was about
4
4
o'clock in
o'clock.
the afternoon.
In the afternoon.
So where are you guys supposed to?
We wanted to be down, but you gotta understand, dude. Like,
Why did it take?
you
so
get
long
into
to
a certain type of climbing,
That's why.
well, and two, like, you get distracted, time passes quickly,
Okay,
and the
yeah.
next thing you know, too, you're like, okay.
So you guys left early and on time, but time just kind of got.
Well, I mean, I will say,
because of
I'm
the
sorry for
conditions,
not
the
waking. I
technicalities
will
of
say,
it,
I'm
yeah.
sorry for not waking up at 4:30.
Well, it's all right.
Yeah, we might have been able to get a little bit further down the northern ridge and we found it, but the snow did start coming in about an hour or so after that, because once we felt it blowing in, you gotta
What
understand,
happened as you guys were ascending?
this is like 4:30, 5
yeah.
o'clock, somewhere, we're, keep in mind, like, we're on mountain time, dude. We're not looking at the clock all the time.
Right. True.
So it's, we're just guessing at actual times. And I think we're fairly accurate, definitely within an hour.
Well, because I can say that confidently because I know that we summoned it at around 7 o'clock at night.
So you guys are climbing up the mountain, and do you guys know that something like this isn't good because the weather's coming? Or was it not that big of a deal yet?
It's debatable. I mean, like for me, I knew that we were starting to get in some weather.
Not
It
yet,
started coming down.
not yet,
It did start snowing,
in the
It started snowing,
not in the couloir. I would not say in the couloir. Couloir is a pretty safe place. The couloir is like kind of safe. You're like on a bed of snow. You see the rocks. You're not having to hold on. You're kind of resting in the snow. You're looking to the bed. You get up. You're looking up. You're like, oh, you're digging your way up. The couloir is kind of although it's difficult, it's a comfortable place. But we knew to move efficiently up that mountain
Because
there
we're
was
rock climbers.
we're rock climbers, so we're like, let's get on this rock that extends out, and let's
to the
climb
summit.
up over the edge of what we can't see. Get on the face, and let's climb that face to the summit. And we climbed several hundreds of feet.
Probably about 700.
And at this point, it became dark. The winds were about 40 miles per hour, and it was blizzarding. And unfortunately, only one headlamp was operable. And so the kind of the
So before you summited, it already got dark out?
I mean, the sun sets in the wintertime, man, so early. Like, the sun set about like
Oh, true.
5:30.
5:36. Yeah, 6 is really dark.
So it's dark out, and you guys still haven't summoned yet.
No,
Yeah, that's correct. Well,
about like 4:30,
Yes, you are
4:45.
correct.
Was that when it gets dark out? Wait, at what point did you guys say, okay, this is getting like?
so here's my
little
thing.
crazy.
Here's my thing. Tom and I feel like him and I would agree on this. And Tom, if you disagree with anything I say, please call me out and interrupt me. We got onto that rock face, dude, and we got our Sam. Tom and I have done so much climbing together, and we have been in more serious situations.
Okay.
Kind of almost.
We're like, if you
I
fall, you
felt,
can't fuck
I
up.
felt like
can't fuck
I
up.
felt like we never talked about the risks involved or anything like that. We never were like, oh shit, how
It's kind of just like assumed.
we're still keeping it cool, and we're
Right.
keeping it cool right now. No kidding. We're keeping it cool still.
And so you guys are climbing up.
We
It's
keep
dark
looking.
out. The snow comes.
So now we've come up out of the couloir. Now we're on that rock. We've
Right.
gone. You know how I mentioned you're in the rock, and you're in the couloir on the snow, and the rock extends perpendicular, right, along the different. It's going out past you as you're in the couloir, right? We now climbed off to the right onto that rock beyond what we could see while we were in the couloir, and now we're on that face. It's dark. There's strong winds, like I said.
And you guys got one headlamp.
What?
So how
And
did you
I
guys-
feel
yeah.
okay. So I feel like that was the moment. We didn't say anything outright explicit to each other about this.
It was
but
kind of more so just
It was like
a
the climber
visual,
can't.
like-
The climber can't.
All right.
Well, the climber. When we held this headlamp and we realized it was just the one, we knew the climber didn't get to have it, because if the climber fell, then the other person still alive couldn't be left without a headlamp. And there was kind of a somber on those almond that did descend the parties. As things, we knew things were really fucking serious.
Were you guys quiet at that point?
No, we communicate, but also like when you're climbing.
And when you're climbing, like, this is how we did it. So, like, Matt had the headlamp. He led up. He took the initial start, and he would lead free solo.
He chimed that out.
Well, Matt had the headlamp on, and he would climb about 15 feet up, and I climbed below him.
That's when we first.
And he would shine it down.
That's when we first traversed out, though, and then we kind of changed because it was easier traversing out. That was pretty easy, and we weren't really worried about falling. But eventually, we got onto this like fourth, maybe even fifth class stuff where we were like, "Whoa, we got to like hold on with 3 points of contact, or we're gonna fall." That was pretty intense.
So you would climb up, and then you would look down to give you the line of sight to climb back.
Yep. So I'd climb up to like his high point, then he would climb another 15 feet, shine the light.
I remember you leading too, though. We would do it off.
We traded off. Yeah.
Yeah.
We swapped
Maybe
out. Like,
initially I started and what we would refer this to. I like to call them like doing it in blocks. So a guy might do like 3-4 pitches, a set, right? And then the other guy go do like 3-4 pitches. And in this case, pitches were like 10 to 15.
But you guys are free soloing on a mountain at night with one headlamp.
In a blizzard.
In a blizzard.
With
So how bad was it coming down at this point?
We just told you.
It was nuclear at this point?
It was nuclear, dude. Like, noticing snow around 4 o'clock. It was light. Now it's getting to be about like 5:30, so towers rolled in, all the front of the storm's coming over, and we're starting to get into the middle of the eye of it. Not even the eye, but like the thick of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, this point is probably like 5:36, 6:30.
Yeah.
And, well, okay,
We just kept climbing.
We're
We
in-
must
we
have
have to keep
we
moving.
climbed hundreds of feet.
And so you guys are climbing
On rock?
in the dark.
and ice.
Yes, dude.
Like the rock. I specifically remember, and I was like, I didn't have my gloves on. And the rock is slick as shit.
Yeah, you'd have to check the rock, or you'd have to try to break it off with like a kind of.
If you guys fuck up at this point, you're fucked.
You don't.
You're dead.
And two, the rule is you never go directly above the other person, because then if you fall, you take them out. So you're also keeping that in mind the whole time. But for him and I, it's a dance. We've been climbing for so long, we do really well rock.
But summiting at night, you guys will have to, the climb back down is going to be at night. Was this not a stressful?
We kind of knew that we couldn't climb back down, I think.
Yeah, we both knew that
We knew we had to-
You guys are going to have to make camp.
we both knew we had to find some sort of shelter. But anyway, after we're done climbing up the space, we get to the summit. After this harrowing, light shining, pitch block leading extravaganza, we get up there around 7 o'clock at night.
And so you guys are climbing. You knew you'd get cell phone signal at the top, right?
Yeah, and that's what our main incentive was, because we didn't have signal anywhere else.
So you
knew that we would have.
How does the signal travel up there?
Well, because
you're on top of
the mountain.
we can make a direct line of communication, so to speak, right? With a tower.
Your radio waves can't puncture through granite because it's too strong. And when you're on top of the mountain, the radio waves can freely go above that because, they're broadcasting out, but the rock acts as a barricade for that. So we both call our parents and tell them, like, hey, we summited, we're okay. We're going to try and attempt to make it down tonight.
If you don't
hear from us,
just call 911. I played it off with my parents as I was on. We got up here late and started. And sound a little stormy, but we're gonna try to come down and get down by tomorrow. If you don't hear from us, just reach out to the sheriff and stuff. But I think we'll be all right. And that's what I kept it really cool, because I was like, I'm not gonna deal with. I'm not gonna try to explain to my mom.
But in your mind,
now Tom's her knew.
My dad knew.
He was like, "You boys are fucked."
no way.
My dad has been like,
What do you say?
my dad was out here in Alpinist. Like, he's done many accredited routes. Like, he spent time down in South America. He actually pioneered a brand new route, first ascent up Salcantay in Peru, which is a 20,152-foot mountain.
Shit, dude.
Comparable to the north.
What's your dad's name?
Hendricks.
I gotta look this dude up, dude.
Her Hendricks.
So you call your parents.
Guy did
and
live
what
shows
did they
for
say? What
Jimmy
did your dad
Hendrix.
say to you? You're
Well,
fucked?
well, more or less. Like, my dad was a hard ass, but he was also very understanding and knew what was going on.
Because he had gotten himself in trouble. He had friends die on mountains where he had previously climbed.
Wow.
Tom and I had previously climbed. So, Herb kind of knew what was up.
So what did he say to you?
So, he basically
Did he
said,
give you
like,
advice?
he gave some advice. He said, all right, boys, well, just survive and call me when you can. You know, I understand that you're up there. Get down. Like, that was my dad's biggest thing. Like,
Just fucking call me!
I had the
Damn
worst
it.
problem
Just
of
call
like
me, boy.
staying out of touch.
Call
Man.
me.
Whenever I go climbing, I go with Matt.
Please fucking call.
Like, we just literally go like, call me.
That's
all I ask.
Hey, boys, can you do me a favor with it? Yeah. Okay, just fucking call.
Call.
He's a good guy.
I wish people could still be my dad, man. Like, he was literally born in 1946. So we saw when he was all dapper and classy. You know, he graduated high school. Graduated. In, like, 1964. 54. Yeah.
64.
Yeah. So we got to see all the hippie revolution, man. He was a full-blown hippie in the 60s and 70s. Out in...
Did he grow up here?
He grew up kind of like the first 2 years in Ottawa, Illinois. Moved out here when he was about 4 or 5 years old. My grandfather, his dad, built the house that we're currently living in still in 1956. And grew up out here, so more or less a Colorado native. And, you know, my dad was raised hell and started climbing Garden of the Gods with all these derelict climbers, outlaw activities.
We were so, I mean,
Like-
Herb was like another dad to him.
Yeah.
We were so close with him. And he just knew. He was a climber. He was
It's
a
the
real,
mindset, man.
He was
It's
a,
mentality.
getting back to what we were saying earlier, Randy, he was a real climber. He really was.
My dad was
He
born in
took some
47,
typical.
so I get that. Let's talk about that later.
Yeah,
I
man.
want to get back to this story. So you call your dad.
And he starts to give advice, yeah.
So does he give you anything like tangible, like something you guys should do,
Dude,
or
this
you
is
just like
all
you
like-
guys just gotta make it? I don't know
Dude,
how you're
this
gonna
was
make it.
this was all under like you gotta keep in mind these phone calls took place under like 6-7 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
This is very quick
Yeah. And
because we're in a fucking storm, dude.
we're literally like hunched over,
14,000
kind of over
something
like a little boulder, trying to get any sort of
Windy
shelter
as
we can.
fuck.
Yeah, we're screaming at the phones, like
Like, I waited for Matt to finish those phone calls, and then I called my parents.
yeah.
So, like, we weren't screaming over each
So
other.
does
Yeah,
he give you
that's
any
right.
kind of tangible advice, or is it more like you guys just gotta survive?
We mostly just gave him a call, like, hey, we summited, you know, it's blizzarding, but, you know, we're okay. Everything's
I think
okay.
everybody had a frog in their voice.
Yeah.
Especially amongst the three of us, because we were all climbers and we were like, shit, we just like, I'm totally sideways. So,
But,
I will say that.
you know, that being said, like, the quick detour we just took about what Dad was saying, like, basically, this is what he said. He said, all right, boys, you know, be safe. You're going to be okay. You're going to make it down. And
He was the
I'll see
only
you."
one who was
He
like,
was the
they're not
only
dead.
one
The whole
who
time
knew.
he was like, they're not dead.
He knew that we weren't dead, man, because
Dude.
he understood the mentality of the
Fast
climbers.
forward, the SAR teams were literally told just look for bodies at the bottom of cliff bank.
Really?
That's what they were told to do.
So let's get back to the timeline here, bro.
So
you
we
guys
get off
summit
the phones. We're on
and
the
you
summit,
call
right?
your parents.
We get off the so we have those conversations. We get off the phones, and we're like, okay, let's try to make the general direction for the northern range. So now we're descending to the west. But you got to understand that it's a death trap. There are cliff bands everywhere where it drops off like thousands of feet.
Literally looking into an abyss.
Yeah, and you can know when you would know when you come up onto them because the wind becomes louder because you're stepping into the void. And
The
you
snow
feel
starts to
wind,
like blow downwards.
Oh, I
Yeah, I
see.
do feel like you get sucked almost.
Are you
towards it.
serious?
Oh, it's very scary. Because these are 50, 60, 70 mile per hour winds, dude.
So what's up? This is building like right there.
It's like
20
negative,
feet.
and it's about negative
Maybe.
25 degrees at this point.
And-
And wind chill.
What? So last time we talked about this around the campfire, Emma said you guys wore jeans. Is that
No.
So that's
this is what we
misconstrued
get really
bullshit
fucking
is-
pissed off.
This
about.
is why like we hate the news and media.
And it's because we were young.
It's because we were young, and
We-
there's this
we
picture that my
taught
dad took in our
adults.
driveway, where like he was like, "Let me get a picture before you guys head off." And I was wearing jeans.
We were
and-
wearing comfortable clothes for the drive.
for the drive. Yeah, we had all of our winter clothes. We had our snow pants. We had all of our layers. Like
But that's the
it's
one.
just-
That's the photo they used on the news.
that's the part they used on news because it was more dramatic.
Yeah.
And because of that, it basically turned into like, oh my god, these boys, our high school kids are ill prepared for this journey. They don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
And-
and you gotta say it was difficult for us because
Like-
why did we go into the mountains? We go into the mountains to get the fuck away from people.
Yeah.
And so now we come down with calls from Good Morning America, from Fox National. We've done a television show.
Yeah. I mean, basically, we ended up being on the show alive. Like, where
There you go.
it's a Peacock special, right? So, like, this is after everything happens.
Streaming
Like,
service,
All right, hang on. I want to get back to the story.
yeah,
and
we'll be back to
talk about
okay.
this.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Okay.
You guys
okay.
just had the
We-
calls with your parents. You guys are we're gonna try to make a descent at this
But-
point, or you guys
I-
decided to get
I-
back?
After the call, we started to make a descent, and we started to see these cliff bands, and
Okay.
we're like, okay, this is an abyss, this is a drop off. We can't make this.
I will say though, Mike,
But we tried for 45 minutes.
You guys did try to make
And
it.
on long form content, dude, we really want the chance, and that's why we're glad to do this podcast with you because some of these issues, like people ask, why'd you go out there? This is why we went out there. Why were you on the summit at night? Well, we ended up there because, quite frankly, like we want to live life. Like we have a gift, and you know what? People think we're doing all this stupid jackass shit. No. We climbed 600 feet in a blizzard, free soloed it with one headlight. And you know what? We had a good time doing it because this guy right here, he is one of my best buddies. And that night, we knew in our minds, we didn't yet say this, but we both knew that there was a very, 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 very good chance that we were both going to die. And we understood that.
And we were both okay with that because we had lived and we had done everything that we
We
wanted.
were happy
So,
to be dying
in a
in
sense.
I know this thing multi-layered, and I'm sure there's so many emotions that go involved with it. I'm sure I'll keep a coherent storyline here, not to redirect you guys too much, because I know this is a lot for you guys.
Well, what people
But-
don't understand is nothing's coherent in the story.
No, I bet.
And when you're doing something like this, people need to understand that we took it very seriously. We were very accomplished finders. It was by the grace of God that we learned that night. And to get back to the story, we knew that we could die. So we were like, okay, let's go try to get out of the wind. Makes sense, right? So that's what we
So
did.
as in that 45 minutes, we were walking around. We found all these cliff bands and abysses. Like, okay, well, this
We found good rock.
is futile. We found on one of our paths like these two boulders that had kind of created like a semi-alcove, little nook.
Okay.
And we were like, okay, this is a good little wind block. So we both like shoved up there, and
So it was a tiny little nook that was just in the rock, like a little
like,
ledge.
it was
Two
just like,
big boulders.
two boulders
And we
stacking
like
up
shoved
each other.
ourselves up underneath them to get out of the wind. And I will say, Tom, he had a more exposed position. I think he had more snow on him in the morning, and I will say it. Cheers to you, buddy, for going on. Those are blessed when they go.
Cheers, man.
And so you guys decide this is our best shot at camping out for the night. And what kind of shelter did you have?
That was it. So
That was it.
You guys had no.
We had the rocks.
yeah.
And
so
all our layers that we had on.
And the
We didn't
layers
have
we
any
had
of our space blankets. We didn't have our sleeping bags.
No
No
tent,
oils.
no hammock.
No hammock. Nothing. No tent.
This are close because again, we had been into this alpine style, like you leashed it.
So you guys crammed yourself in this boulder.
Yep.
And then you guys also shoved each other's feet in your armpits to stay warm, right?
So, yeah. So like the blizzard is still just raging around us.
yeah.
And after like about 30 minutes, we started like shivering like uncontrollably. And, your body started to like
convulsions.
full convulsions. Like it
It's
starts to
seizure like.
Seizure.
This is a about how I was talking. Like if we tried to get sentences together, like you think like Titanic when like Jack's like trying to talk to Rose, like Rose, you're gonna get out of here, that you're gonna make tons of babies, right? Like that's literally how we were talking, man. Like, but
we were screaming because the wait was so long. The 78 month.
What are you guys saying to each other at this point?
Nothing.
It just say I was not a lot. We were. I think I was yelling things at Tom at certain points, but he just couldn't hear me, and he might.
Really?
I couldn't hear her. Like I wouldn't work.
We were kind of disconnected, but we were connected. I tell you what, you know what? Just like Avatar with the whole like tunnel thing, having that man's feet in my armpits. I don't have much to say about that, but what I do have to say is that his smelled worse than mine.
That big a differ? That's weird.
He always
like,
says this.
The rear end of an elephant ass. Okay.
No. If I'm going to be end up an elephant ass, then I don't know what you want, buddy, because that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad.
Well, see, let me explain how that all went down, though, because, like, we're shivering our asses off, and, at this point, it'd been, like, 3-4 hours, it's like, you just got up there around, like, midnight.
It's close to midnight, and at this point,
I'm, like, thinking, like, survival in my mind, like, okay, what can I do? Because my feet are cold.
Yeah.
Like, what if we took off our boots?
Well,
and our wet socks?
this, yeah, and this
So you guys
was
only
actually
legs laying away from each other, yet you can't even hear each other?
Yeah.
The wind's just blowing so hard, dude. Like,
It smells like coming in, and the jackets are like,
I see what you're saying.
it's everything just kind of all at once, man.
yeah.
But, like, basically what happens is I start to think, like, okay, I'm going to take off my wet boots and I'm going to take off my wet socks. And I say to Matt, like, hey, dude, can I put my feet in your armpits?
I'll clarify, this was not around midnight. I thought we were a little bit further with
Like
this.
around 1.
This was earlier than that, dude.
You think
it
it was?
was pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did that while I remember we were shivering still. Because at a certain point we stopped shivering.
At around 79 degrees, your body
Keep in mind too, our bodies are having like muscle spasms because we hadn't dedicated enough time to eating and drinking because we were climbing for so long, and it was just and it was hard to eat and drink like just at that altitude and a blizzard and everything going on, and so we had just done this huge physical, very physically exerted exercise essentially coming up this mountainside. I was having like muscle cramps too. Like we were beat up dogs, man, on the road who had been hit. Like it was rough, man. And
But in my mind, like I was thinking, like, how can I make myself more comfortable? And that's why I asked that. Yeah, like
and that probably saved our toes.
Yeah,
Probably saved our
so
toes.
my feet were in his feet were in mine, and like we split the rest of the night like that. All these people are gonna say, oh, that's stupid. You're like, oh, it's homo, whatever. But you're not thinking about that when you're up there. All you're thinking about is survival. How am I gonna keep myself safe?
stuff like that when we got back.
Are you serious?
Oh,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah. What's the biggest thing? Like,
And
you
yeah,
actually
so
stick your feet in each other's armpits? Like,
you know-
are you guys gay? I'm like, no.
And
it's
as we're
stupid.
telling the story, man, we might call out things like that.
Yeah.
Just so we can get some of the connecting, this is so funny. You should mold the whole stand, dude.
The whole stand?
Mine is like perfect, dude.
I know, dude. You literally lucked out. Like, I think I might just hold the whole stand. I'd be classy.
The sun on the table is good.
Dude, you just
classy.
yeah, and you could like
So, look at you guys eating pumpkin seeds.
that was late.
Well,
I don't know. That night we weren't eating at all, just because like, dude, you gotta come on, man. Like, a picture that you're on top of a 14er in a blizzard, it's below 0 degrees, and you're there laying there on rocks with your buddy's feet shoved up into your armpits. Low calorie intake,
dehydrated,
hypothermic. Now you've stopped shivering. If you stop shivering, dude,
That means your body kept
So,
those
like,
eating.
What was you guys?
you get down there, you die.
At 70, you die.
So what happened? You guys stopped shivering, and then what happened? You guys fall
I
asleep?
remember.
No.
No.
The body kind of maybe started to fall asleep a little bit,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
mental clarity, 1000%.
Yeah. Because
You're aware of every single thing.
you know you're about to die.
You know you're about to die. You're in the thick of it. It's
You
negative
know you're
20
about to
degrees.
die.
So was that your guys' mindset? Were you guys thinking, I'm about
Well,
to
you
die?
just know it, dude. Come on. I mean, you.
Think about like never been in this.
Think about like the
go
most
into
like
that
intense
cold-
Mai Tai or like life-defying like fight you've ever been in, right? Because I know you're into Mai Tais,
hours of
where it's like, you know, you're getting the shit kicked out of you, and you're just so beat down that no matter how hard you try, you just have to pull that inner strength out of you and keep fighting it.
This storm was so
Find that
intense.
shit, man. That's
This
what it's
storm
about.
was so intense. We woke up and
With
on our
14
cheeks,
inches of
they
snow.
were so frozen, and the snow and the ice crystals that had hit them, there were like speckles of blood all over us. So it was
like a million daggers hitting you all at once.
tiny daggers.
So you guys couldn't sleep awake that whole night.
No.
Well,
you guys-
you
sleep is a
eventually
relative
you
term.
pass out. Did it just like
And you did pass out at one point.
I passed out? I was not working.
And so what time did you guys wake up? And how were the conditions when you guys woke up?
Well, the sun started to rise about like 6:30, and because of that, you know, I was like, "Whoa, is this heaven?" Because everything was all white.
Yeah.
This must be what heaven's like.
Yeah.
And then I start to smell the rank feet again. I was like,
yeah.
"Okay, well, this isn't heaven. I'm breathing. It's light out. You know, we made it through the night." And a couple minutes pass by, and I go, "Yo, bro, what's up, man?"
No
we
way.
fucking made it through the night. And, you know, we come to it, we're like, rolling our arms. That was fucking crazy.
So is it sunny out at this point?
It's not sunny. It's overcast.
Still blizzard.
Still blizzarding.
Yeah,
But like
more of
it's the residual light shining through, right?
Yeah,
like
more
even when it's like
visibility.
raining, you still see like
Yeah.
some light.
It was daytime.
Yeah, we could tell it was daytime.
Yeah.
But anyway, after a few minutes passed by, we like
And
resummoned.
keep in mind like too, like I think we're skipping over this, so we took our sleep.
We are, yeah.
I like dude. So at least for me, I remember just the moment that night where I was like, yeah, okay, it's probably over. I mean, dude, this was really that night. I remember. I don't know if you heard me, Tom, but I at one point said I love you. And I'm sorry if I had wrong with you.
I did, but he said that, dude. No, you never told him that.
I only said more eyes to people.
I love you too, man. You're a brother of mine.
So
Man.
Tom, was your mindset the same thing? Did you think you were dying then?
Yes and no, dude. I knew that I was still very much conscious and aware, but it's like
No,
you're
it's in the
pushed
back
so
of your
close to
mind.
the edge that like it's on your mind.
And you know, too, when you stop moving, you stop generating heat, and that's a big factor. It's but dude, waking up to this guy, what's up, dude? I was kind of the same place as him, where I was like, I was thinking, I'm like, okay, it's fine. I was like, oh, we do a remake, and we got up and we like literally like jumped and kind of almost like kind of beat on each other as we were on each other, just more like we were frozen stiff, man.
Yeah, just imagine trying to put on frozen boots after that.
Oh, dude, it was horrible, man. But God, like, somehow gave us some sort of warmth.
Truly.
Are you serious?
100%.
Because we got up, we just like got up and we just moved our asses. You ever have to wait up that morning?
That's some literature, dude.
Wow.
We started moving our asses after we got our boots on.
Yeah.
You know, we re-summited. Okay, so wow, we weren't that far from the summit at all.
And we knew we had to go back to the summit to reorientate ourselves.
Because we weren't sure how far down on the ridge
Yeah.
where we were.
Yeah.
I was like, it was stupid coming to
It was like maybe 30 feet.
Was it
from where
still
it was.
Oh, it was
Way further. Yeah, you're right. It was like
I don't know
200.
what the hell you're doing.
Yeah, it was like
It took forever to get.
Was it still blizzard at this point?
it was lightly snowing. Like
so it was
it was
coming out.
residual. Yeah.
So you guys
It
re-summit.
was a blizzard, dude. Like you couldn't see where the sun was.
Right.
Like you couldn't see.
It was
more than
dark
100
clouds,
feet
yeah.
or something.
It wasn't snowing near as hard as it was like the
No,
other night.
the wind was not there.
Yeah. But it was still snowing
was
about as
not-
hard.
And so you guys reach the summit, and then what happens after that?
Well, then
You get our berries.
Well, yeah. So we thought, and we purposed to go down the northern ridge, but you gotta understand, once you down that little plateau up there, it's like a chute. And if you go just too much to the west, you end up on a different ridge that shoots up. And we
So
made that
again, like when Matt made that analogy, like here's Holy Cross right here on this forearm, here's Lake Patricia, Waltier's Lake,
yeah.
and well, over here to the northwest, you have a mountain called Sheep Mountain, and then over here, right beneath where our camp was, a mountain rises up above called Notch Mountain.
I didn't know those folks shit now like that. I was going with the really?
Yeah, Sheep and Notch, man, in between twice.
We should not.
And so you guys took the wrong ridge?
So
Yes.
we
What's
thought,
weird is the terrain on both. So the terrain on the
Yeah.
northeastern valley is symmetrical and very looks a lot like the terrain on the southwestern valley. And so we make our way down this like not harrowing ridge, but it would be harrowing in moments because the snow would pocket up into like little drops between the rocks, and you'd step into it, like collapse into the rocks.
like coastal, all the way up to like almost your chest.
No way.
Yeah, and then they'd have to climb out the rocks and keep
Like
going.
we're talking like
It
you know,
happened
only
like
regional
a
snowfall that
couple
happened.
and, like, it
Plus
happened
14 to
over-
16 inches additional, and drifts up to like 20 inches.
Over. I broke my one of my trekking
It
boards.
must have been exhausted.
Dude,
Exhausting doesn't even begin to describe.
I can't imagine.
Like
yo, Tom,
you just you
It-
take
it
one
was-
step and it's like arduous, man.
Dude.
You take another step, just as arduous, and you're doing this for hours.
And then the storm cleared, and it was like noon. And we're looking at the sun, like, some time passes, and we're like, okay, we see the timberline, let's try to get down to it. Take your time.
So when the sun comes out, didn't you guys like open up your coats and just bask in the warmth?
No, that would have been the next day.
That was late. Oh, it was the next day.
So we're still, like,
Yeah, so like
So-
we're starting to make our way down the ridge.
we're still in the fire, not getting into the climb.
Did you guys feel like you were warming up on the sun?
No.
No, not yet.
Well, we're moving, so we're like a little warmer, but we're like not warm.
I did the same everything, like, and I would say, like, we had trained ourselves to, like, you have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable, and you have to be comfortable with the suffering, and we just showed
With quote on it on our anchor, I believe in suffering builds character.
Yep.
Go with God on an anchor. Cheers.
Shoot.
Coggins?
Coggins, yeah. That was funny. Earlier I said Coggins.
David Coggins?
David Goggins.
That's because I'm thinking of my horse, because you have to get a Coggins report on a horse.
But anyway,
Yeah.
Anywho's.
Only Hoozle.
So you guys on that...
So we come down and we
So sun starts coming
sun's up
out.
to we start to realize we're like we get down to that timber line and it's really steep this terrain.
well, you're forgetting something really important, dude.
What?
So we're walking down this ridge, right? And this ridge, mind you, we told you we got a 30-meter rope, which is about
Yeah,
100 feet. Of
that's
rope.
when we got down to those
And
trees.
well, we got down to the trees and to the timberline, and we started like, okay, how can we make more progress getting downhill faster?
Yeah.
Because post holing is arduous. You don't want to do
This
this.
was an out loud
And we had-
discussion.
yeah, this is out loud. We were planning
We
it.
talked. I'm sure we ate a little bit of this one. We made
Yeah.
a little, rationing our food.
Like we had a couple of
You guys have ours?
Water, we had
Water.
access to, thankfully.
We were getting a lot of snow too, and I know a lot of people say don't eat snow, but like
But we also got down to the trees quickly, and we
Yeah.
back it down from the creek. And
very neat. But we were thinking about this plan, like how can we make elevation decrease fast? And that's to rappel. Look, we had this rope. We both had on harnesses, so
gear and stuff.
we were like, okay, well, let's wrap the rope around the tree and simul rappel, where we both rappel at the same time, and we'll rappel a rope like the tie knots.
I do one half of the rope, he does the other half, and we go at the same pace. So that way the rope is counterweight and stays in position. And we did that 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And then we got into the valley, and that's kind of when we figured out we were on the wrong side, because at that point the sun, we were like, okay, why is the sun going to our right when it should be going to our left? And to this creek,
The biggest thing, yeah.
the creek would have been flowing to the left, not to the right.
We were on
This creek was
West
flowing to
Cross
the
Creek
right.
instead of East Cross Creek.
Yeah.
And that's when we're like, oh,
How big of a deal was this?
We said, oh shit.
You guys both figured it out at the same time?
Oh, it was just the creek reaffirmed the sun.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
like, yeah. And we tried to be like, are we missing it somehow? Is there another creek a bit further or something?
Yeah.
You know, are we in a weird draw that's not the real valley or something? And we're trying to go
think about
further to
crashing
get.
and like,
Do we go
it's
further to
actually
get
real.
into the actual valley? I don't
Right.
think that's how it is. We need to check. So we checked everything and really no. And two, I will say this was, you know, people can say what they want about this on the podcast, so I don't really care. But there was some sort of weird supernatural influence going on.
Well, it's been said, even like the search and rescue people have said that Holy Cross is kind of like a mothership.
Takes people.
Takes people. Weird shit has happened in this area.
Why'd you say that?
Because there were human footprints.
Dude, we
No
started
one had
following
been
this
back-
creek.
No one had been back there yet with search and rescue. There were no hunters back there. There were no other people climbing.
How do you know though?
How do we know that?
Although we know because we talked with search and rescue and we saw their logs. It wasn't hunting season. We were the only people in the trailhead parking
A
lot
blizzard
out there climbing. We were only set in a blizzard just into mostly death.
snow.
And so I remember too, we saw this moose run by. And I remember being back there. And I just felt like I felt like we were trapped in a world within our world.
So you guys are
We knew we had to spend another night.
oh my god. So you guys are descending and then you guys
We're now in
Are
the
biking
valley
down.
at the creek.
and then that's when you guys see the footprints?
Yes.
And
On the other side
so
of the creek.
What was
Dude,
that like? Describe that.
there was like a beam back there.
Oh, 100%. Like, you know, some people would say, oh, it's the Yeti, it's the Sasquatch, it's Bigfoot. But, you know, something supernatural took place out there, man. This is what gets me, okay? I want you to try and wrap your head around this as much as you can. And it's not going to make sense. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't think it makes sense to Matt. But at the end of the day, this is the honest to God truth what happened. We were following this creek, and out of nowhere started these footprints, like the size of maybe like the size 12, 13 foot human. Okay, like slightly above average. And they walk in a straight line, right? Like normal, right? Well, we both look at each other and we're like, you see these footprints too, right? So we're like, okay, well, maybe these footprints will lead us to someone. Well, we start following these, and they take us in a straight line.
How else would this be?
Yeah.
There's got to be a person that we can go see.
So you guys walk
Dude,
up and you guys just see these footprints going off in the street.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Start out of nowhere.
right on the edge of the tree line, and then they disappear back off. Like
guys
it was
look
like
at
a
each other like,
straight
what the
line.
Well, they will disappear, dude. They walk in a
Oh,
straight
yeah.
line, and
then
they bring
pick
us
up
right back.
out.
So right where
back-
we exactly
you
where
went
we picked
on
these
the
footprints
back.
up.
a circle?
They went in a straight
No,
line in a
we-
circle.
We
at
were
the
not
same
going
time.
crazy. We were not going crazy.
No,
We're not going crazy.
we were not dehydrated. We weren't on any drugs.
We
We were coherent. We understood what
if
was
we
going
were
on.
coherent, how could we have just made several repels of technical rock climb, done all this thing, these things to survive with really no injuries except for frostbite up until this point?
Well, and you guys are
Exhausted.
seeing the same thing.
Yes.
So, okay. Just take me through this. So you guys see these footprints and you guys are like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So you follow them.
Yeah, and they like take you straight.
Straight?
You end up
Right
on
back
the
where you picked them up.
backside going into
Like
the
some
same
kind
road.
of paradox?
Exactly. Like Pandora's box. Or like Schrodinger's cat. The cat is both dead and alive.
So, Are there trees around that confuse you? Like, describe the scenery.
But the trees were listed. There was spiritual warfare going on.
Why do you say that?
Because Tom and I were supposed to be dead.
We were supposed to be dead on the mountain on the summit, man. We were supposed to be down there. There was some extraterrestrial, supernatural, spiritual.
As a Christian, I believe it was something in between the war between God and me over the condition of my human heart.
Why do you guys say that?
What was so beautiful about this show, and this is what I think personally. There was a scary aspect to it. There was I believe it was back in that area. Because the people have gone missing, and the everything you don't get found. When they were found, they're dead. They just found, from this mom, they just found like a fragment of a tooth. It's been like over a decade.
This lady who went hiking on the lake crossing.
People go missing
For decades. Decade.
People just don't come out.
It's a weird...
There's a lot of weird magnetics.
Nexus,
There's a lot of weird magnetic stuff that goes on with compasses too on that mountain.
So you echo the same sentiment. Did you have any different perspective on that? Why did you think it was spiritual warfare?
It was a combination.
I would say I thought it was spiritual warfare because, like, you know, Matt is a lot more traditional Christian because of how my dad was and how I was raised, and, like, you know, some of the topics I've explored is in regards to consciousness. I knew that there was something ethereal going on. I was like, okay, well, this has to be a sign from, like, either angels, demons, or something in between.
That's what.
And I knew not what that was. I still don't know. But
I feel like I know. Because what
is so important
is eventually, like the third time around, we walked this other path and it took us to a rock that was...
Hang on. I want to get to that. But elaborate on that.
So in by this, like, unknown substance or entity that took place in creating these footprints, man, I knew that this was somehow sort of like a clue or some sort of a guide for us to be able to follow. Like, this is like, you guys aren't alone.
Yeah.
I'm here with you. God is with us. And
It was
at the
scary,
same time, it was scary.
man.
But it's like,
Like,
it's
who
the famous Bible,
here, man?
It's
Like,
the famous
who the
Bible
hell
verse.
is that?
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. For thou hast prepared a table before me, before my enemies. You
guys,
like, it's a whole 9 yards, man.
so
Like,
these footprints, guys. So you follow these footprints that go straight, and then somehow end up back where you were,
like
some kind of fucking.
We did it several times.
You did it
we
several
did it
times.
3 times.
And
So if you kept walking straight, would you just keep walking? Like,
we
right back
would
where we were.
purpose. We would purpose to, like,
I know.
we would, and it'd be about a 3-minute walk or so. It was short. But we would, and the snow was maybe shimmy.
so if Tom stood at the start and then you kept walking, which
You ended up right back.
and watched you, and then
And we did that one time.
I just can't comprehend.
I told you wouldn't, dude. To this day, I still don't comprehend it. But like Matt said, you know, it led us around where there was this leaning overhead rock face, kind of like maybe, 50, 60 feet tall?
It was big.
It was big. It was like a
big
nice,
enough
like,
and
outcrop.
overhanging enough to create a space where there was hardly any snow.
Wow.
And, you know, that was a natural windbreak. And, you know, we're like, okay, well, obviously, this is, like, getting to be, like, late in the day. We're going to have to set another night out. And, all right, well, we'll make camp here. Why not? This is a good spot. And so, you know, we perch up underneath this rock face, and we're like, okay, well, let's maybe eat some salmon, get some food in, get some calorie intake. And we try and start a fire.
Yeah.
And,
Lighters are
you know, Matt gathers some pine branches, and we start to, like, layer up so we're not laying on the cold snow.
When you gathered the pine branches, while I took the aluminum foil from the salmon to try to conduct a spark because the lighters won't work.
Right.
Same smell.
And we try and take this salmon wrapper that we have, like in tinfoil, and we take the batteries from our headlamp, and we use it to make a sort of spark we can, and like in by that, we get us a couple sparks, but it doesn't avail to a fire. We don't get a fire going. We had lighters and matches, but they were all done, like, they were waterlogged, like, snowed in, whatever.
The smell, that's how bad it was. The smell got into the lines with that. Dude, the smell was like in all sorts of places.
There was snow or places snow should have been.
No, there was some. And so, like, we laid down on those pine branches. That's actually.
So you couldn't get a fire going?
No,
We tried.
So after about maybe half an hour of that, we get up on that and just were really asleep. And at that point, we had drank a lot of water because we had come to the creek, and it was at that, honestly, like...
How good was that whiskey? Oh, dude. It was like, as good as this whiskey is. Shout out to Tin Cup. Better than better.
Yeah, unofficial sponsor.
You want to say cut with Rocky Mountain Honor?
Hold it up, dude. Hold it up.
Yeah. Like this. Right here. Tin Cup whiskey. Shout out.
Shout out. No.
We'll take you to where 14ers actually are. But in all actuality, though, like, that water was divine, and have to. You had earlier mentioned pumpkin seeds, Mike. Okay, well, this is where those pumpkin seeds come into play. The night prior, Matt and I that was all we had left. We had finished up the salmon.
Yeah.
And
You guys were probably fucking starving right
oh,
now.
dude,
we were really hungry.
But
also,
I was
we're in this
considering
mindset
starting
of like,
branches.
this ain't shit. We can go 3 weeks without food. I can go days without water. Like, we're gonna be fine. Like, we were pretty, determined that we'd be all right at that point. It was scary just having to spend another night, because the night sucks because you're not moving and you get cold.
But you guys had
also so
expended
tired.
so
You
many
just
calories
pass
out hiking and the shivering. Your body trying to keep warm probably was like 1,000 calories, dude.
Yeah, we didn't really shiver somewhere, so.
You guys were okay at that?
Dude, how cool that some night we had a pretty grand perspective, so to speak. I mean, after that time, I can go lay out with no blanket in some cold weather and be fine.
Wow.
Yeah, I spent 11 minutes in cold rushing water today.
Nice, bro.
Take a cold shower, bro?
I love cold showers.
You too.
Everyone, religion stores right up, man.
You know what's crazy? Is
How do you get it, Clement?
I grew up right outside of Philly, and it's the Northeast. It gets pretty cold. But the cold showers aren't that crazy. Out here, bro, these cold showers, oh yeah, full. Dude, it's fucking freezing.
Dude, they're cold.
crazy.
Completely cold. Because, like, especially if what's really cold is you go to the creeks during the winter time.
Right.
Suicide in the water, that's
Oh, that's even worse, dude.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, try sitting in the cold water when you have negative 10 wind chill. That's a real factor right there. But
And so
anyway.
you guys find this another
You
crevice,
gotta understand too,
but another crevice. It's
it's
a nicer crevice.
yeah,
we both also, I think it's important to say, we had both also trained and been doing this, like,
Right.
cold exposure stuff for years. We put ourselves,
like we had researched like Wim Hof and everything like
Yeah.
that, where like how it's super therapeutic for the body and
I think that really helped us survive.
I agree.
Good.
Yeah,
I train,
yeah.
I do something. Yeah.
But
But, we,
I don't think now's the best time to chew ice, Matt.
what?
Hey, that's gonna sound great in the microphone.
Man, it's gonna sound terrible.
Good.
But this is actually a great like add-in for it, because like we're underneath Salcove after we tried to get a fire going.
I was sweating
And
over
like
it, bro.
the night prior, Matt and I had had our feet inside each other's armpits, and we're spooning next to each other at this point because it's still cold as shit. And I'm like, hey Matt, can you pass those pumpkin seeds? He's like, yeah, man, I caught you. And I try and munch on some of these pumpkin seeds, dude, and my mouth is drier than the most like cotton mouth you've ever had in your life, dude. And I'm like trying to swallow these seeds, and it is the most painful thing I have ever experienced. Like, dude, like just imagine like trying to like, you know when you're really high and you like try and munch on like something super dry, like
almost
cornbread. Yeah, dude, that's what it was like for me. I was like, dude, I gotta go get some snow back. So I reached down and grabbed some snow and like melt this snow in my mouth just to try and get some relief.
Oh my god. And we're not supposed to eat stuff that's why the energy worse.
It takes more energy to melt the snow in your mouth to get the water out of it than you get the water benefit.
But it satiates your mouth at that time.
It creates salivation, yeah.
Yeah.
So you can actually like, okay, well, you know, now I have like the relativity of wetness in the mouth.
Gotcha. So you guys get in this crevice for your second night there. I know what happened.
Well,
We
we
actually,
actually this. It was just like
it was like a
a
rock.
rock that overhung over the earth, right?
Oh, I see.
Then we kind of laid up underneath. It was pretty flat. No snow.
We have pine branches. And
You guys actually got sleep that night.
We actually slept a little bit. You like, you know, like you're still very much aware, but we weren't cold. We weren't shivering. Like,
Yeah.
you were still cold, but like
As
not near.
Yeah.
Where the perspective.
Yeah. And in by that, you know, we were able to like get some very much like needed physical rest. And we woke up the next morning, you know, kind of like started slow a little bit, like put our had our boots on already. We kept everything on in this point because we wanted to just stay layered up. And, you know, we walked back out to where these footprints were. We followed the creek. We started to follow the creek. Literally walked on the creek bed. And, you know, it was pretty frozen. There was like ice. It was probably a foot and a half thick. So it was able to support our weight. And we're like, okay, well, if we follow this creek and we head towards the west, we're going to hit West Cross Creek. So we thought, we started heading this creek. We're flowing it back to the west. And, well, you know, we're walking on this creek, and eventually, after like a few hours, you come to like this big meadow. Like, I'm talking like beautiful clearing.
And we kind of wanted. We had been like sat in the timber.
Yeah.
We're like, we gotta get like to the vantage point.
Yeah.
So the search and rescue didn't see us.
How did you guys know where you're
Because we heard helicopters.
We had heard helicopters flying over. Like, you could hear the whirling of a helicopter.
How did you guys know where they were going, dude? Do you know?
Well,
You guys just experienced
we
it?
knew to fall. Go. Well,
We know me too.
How
And
did you know
where
what
the-
north was?
well, here's the.
Well, you look at the sun.
No, you look
Like,
at
you
the
can
sun.
look at the sun in the direction of like where the light is shining.
If the sun sets to your right, north is behind you. If the sun sets to your left, north is in front of you. And then under you.
Or you can find north, east, south, and west.
Yeah.
And so we were walking and we came to this meadow where, you know, like Matt said, we needed to find the clearing. And, you know, about like 10:30, 11, 12 in the morning, whatever. Oh, I'm sorry, in the afternoon. We come to this meadow and we had seen like 3 helicopters passing over us. And we're like trying to do our best to scream and yell and get their attention.
And this is kind of going back to the whole Pandora's box about this story. How is it that these helicopters can pass over us time and time again? They had a B-52 bomber at
Flying at
40,000 feet or something like that, using thermal, imaging to try to see if we were down there, and they couldn't find us. We had bright color jackets on. Tom had yellow. I had red. They were flying low, we're definitely within 400 or 500 feet. And yet they still couldn't find us. And so, that was kind of an upsetting moment. And it was also the first moment we were comfortable. It was like, okay, it's warm. Like, we're not cold. In fact, we took off layers. There was a creek.
How good did that feel, bro?
It was amazing.
It's a relief for sure.
Well, and I cried too because I was like, our family's super dead. And the next day was sensitive.
Yeah, this was the 23rd. Oh, this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your dad was like, call me. And you guys obviously couldn't.
No,
Phones are dead.
phones are dead. No cell.
Silent killed them.
And, like I said, we come to this meadow, and we're like, we've seen these helicopters fly over us 3 different times. We've done everything we can to try and get their attention, and they just keep flying. Well, okay. Let's sit in this meadow for 45 minutes to an hour. And if we don't see another helicopter fly over us in this big clearing, then we're going to go ahead and keep going. Because, everyone says, oh, stay in one spot, hug a tree. That is the most bullshit advice I have ever heard in my life.
Because they can kill you.
It can kill you. If you're exposed to the elements long enough,
if you don't do that at the right time, there's times when it's appropriate to hug the tree and stand there, and palm her apart. Sure. But this is the freaking backcountry, Search and rescue ain't gonna go out there. And storms and stuff, they're gonna be really careful. It takes time. But
yeah, they had ground crews out
like us millions
ground crews are still gonna be out so much.
Yeah, I mean, that's, you're talking the military is involved at this point, it's called HAT, high altitude.
So I've always heard, stay where you are. Like, don't try that.
That's kind of bullshit, because if we stayed where we are, we would have no resources, we would have still been trapped. What? Had we stayed where we are on the middle of the rock face, just hanging on, No, you gotta save your own butt.
You got
And so you guys stay there for 45 minutes.
We walked our own out of it. And we took every step. No, he didn't take a step for me. I didn't take a step for him.
And in that 45 minutes, man, right after about an hour had passed, I was like, Matt, you know what, man? This was deep. Let's say the Lord's Prayer.
We do.
And we both said the Lord's Prayer, recited that, and we kept walking. And we started walking, and as soon as we got into the thick of the tree,
his ass. It was time to go again.
Yeah. We started getting in the thick of the tree.
Early daylight. We got to check to get out of fire.
Mm-hmm.
Food.
Figure out how close you're at our camp.
Yeah. Try to get down this valley as quickly as possible north and up over the range and on to our base camp. We had probably 2 to 3 minutes ahead of us. That was the mindset. Maybe even 4 if one of us we were really tired and needed to really spend the day just focusing on food and stuff like that. There's definitely a survival. Is that we could be out here well over a week. If one of us gets injured, it's going to be weeks.
And shit.
Because they got to stop with them.
But see, that's the mindset that you have to be in because, again, this is another quote from Conrad Anchor. I'm a huge Conrad Anchor fan. He's one of my new Conrad Anchor.
Yeah, he's a renowned climber.
He's a renowned climber and alpinist. Done many a great ascents in Antarctica, Nepal, North America, South America, all over. He's done Mayur Central on the Shark Spin in the Garhwal Himalayas. Okay, this guy understands what it means to suffer. But he also knows that you're the sum total of your whole team. If one person falls, this whole crew falls. And that's what Matt and I were thinking about is because, we have to be able to get out of this together. Mm-hmm. You rely on each other. Like, if it's like peas and carrots, man, they go together. We each have our own individual mindsets, and those mindsets play off each other, and so we can create these logical plans to be able to get out. And that's what we did. After we said the Lord's Prayer, we started walking through these trees, and I following the creek. Going as soon as we start to get into the thick of the creek, we hear this.
And this is the
helicopter. It's a big Black Hawk helicopter. Just maybe flying 75 feet above us.
And they pass over us.
Well, more than Matt yelling and waving, like Matt's wearing his.
They were ways up. They were ways up because they were above the pine trees and they passed over us and we're like, great. They went back to the meadow we were just at. Okay, did we go try to run? We just been walking the past 15 minutes or something. You try to get back to the meadow so they didn't see us, or did we just try to find clearing when we were all way kind of in a clearing? And
Next
Just
thing
stay
we
out
know,
here. And they say we know.
this helicopter makes a huge U-turn.
Coming back, sees us, John Serta, the commander on deck. He was the one who saw us.
And they lower down this big cable with what looks like
Jungle
an anchor
penetrator.
called a jungle penetrator. And Matt and I both still had on our harnesses at this point. And we're like looking at each other like, dude, you can pick this girl. I'm not going first. Well, somehow I end up going first. And I get airlifted like
he took the
125
rough
feet.
spot on the summit, therefore, I felt like you get your ass out. You know.
Yeah.
Awareness is
Yeah. We'll go with that one.
And it's funny too that I'm the more traditional Christian. Yeah, he's the one who's
So, bro,
to pray.
You're just going up on this cable? Like, how's it dragging you up? Like, what do you...
Oh, you're just getting
It's
spun around like a
right,
ragdoll,
man.
man. You're literally getting spun around like woo, woo, like you're in like a blanket. Dude. It was like the most horrendous. Like, you know that ride on the carnival, like where you're pinned up against the wall and you can't move? That's what it was like, dude. But you're just spinning and like your equilibrium in your ears.
What do you
all
land
fucked.
on?
Nothing. You're literally just sitting like.
We literally
Like, that's like I was sitting on this microphone.
We took
and I'm just getting
carabiners.
whirled around like
we
this.
took carabiners, unlocking carabiners.
Oh, I see.
From our
Yeah.
harness, attached it to the jungle penetrator, and it just yanked us up.
And, well, as soon as I get up in the helicopter, you know, the first thing I want to do is I want to go and give the guy a big old hug. He's like throwing me in the seat, and I'm like, whoa, dude, chill, dude. I just spent like the last 3 days out in the wilderness. All I've seen is this human. I want to see someone else.
Yeah, right. It was just when I was at quarantine. What was funny is up till then, we'd been talking about girls from school and the whole nine yards.
We're talking about like
It
drugs.
really
rock and
was
roll.
like-
serious?
Oh, yeah.
As you guys are
That's
in
what
this
you have
love
to
for
keep
death
light.
situation-
The whole time we were singing old rock songs.
Like Kashmir, Days of Confused.
Were you really?
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. That's what keeps you going. Like,
Yeah, we kept it very light. And I'm glad too, because I didn't want to be like, and it's all really crappy situation, so we might as well make fun of a happy situation. So, I mean, but yeah, we got winched up, put in that helicopter, and they dropped us off in the field. And
well, yeah, we immediately take off, dude. We're like, this is one of the most defining things for me is like, as soon as Matt gets up there, they both hand us a bottle of water, and the next thing I know, we're just like, boom, full throttle, and we land in this field, and we're getting escorted off by military personnel, and we get escorted to an ambulance, and as we're getting escorted, there's just like a mob of reporters. And these reporters are all like asking us questions. News teams like News 5, News 10, Denver, Aspen, everything. They're all there, dude.
Holy shit.
And, well, Matt and I both get in this ambulance, and, you know, the paramedic asks us, all right, boys, go ahead and take off your boots for me. He takes one look at our toes, and he's like, yep, you boys know how lucky you are. You have severe second to third degree frostbite. And so immediately they take us to Vailbound Medical Center, where they immediately submerge our feet in lukewarm water. But it feels like it's boiling.
Really?
One of the most excruciating pains I've ever felt in my life.
No way.
Like,
Your feet reheating?
your feet reheating back up to like normal core body temperature. The water was probably only like, what, 80 degrees at max?
yeah, I mean,
80, 83, 84,
Right.
5.
yeah, I mean, they also too kind of had separated us at that time and drawn a curtain between us. We're in the same room, but we drew a curtain between us.
Yeah.
Because I also was like kind of like, I knew that frostbite, how you treat frostbite is you slowly rewarm it. If it turns black, you get it amputated. So I'm like, yeah, well, I want to go slowly rewarm it, but like, I had stuff to go do. Like
It's like, we're thinking logically, like, we saw stuff on the mountain, like,
yeah.
we gotta get back out there. We got to Thanksgiving tomorrow.
Like, our adrenaline was so high up there and stuff that we just, you know, and he was a lot calmer than I was, but, you know, at the end of the day, I was a little upset with people just because they were treating me like, you know,
like I was incoherent, like I didn't know what I was doing. Like,
yeah. Like, okay, guys, I'm like, okay, you see what it just came off this round, they're like, you're not okay, like,
yeah, I might have some purple toes, but like I'm okay.
They weren't even purple at that point.
They were like pale white. Yeah,
that's certainly true. That's because of her voice.
yeah.
Dude, we're being exposed off.
Yeah, true.
Because we didn't take our boots off that last night. And so, you know, eventually what was cool for me is my cousin Jeff walked in the room. It was a SAR team member, and seeing him, I was kind of like, okay, and he was like, Matthew, just calm down. They got a medicine called TPA, tissue plasminogen activator. It's used for people on stroke, so it can help restore the blood flow and frozen tissue. You just get admitted and stuff. Don't worry about insurance or anything. And so I was like, okay. And then they transported us to Denver to an ICU around it.
Holy shit.
And what was really cool was they like stripped us naked. This was the most lovely and humbling experience in my life, dude. They stripped us butt naked, laid a towel over our private area, and I was under a heat. Separate room, separate staff and everything, but I had us under a heat lamp and essentially gave us a warm bath and assessed us for injuries. And I cannot tell you what it's like to be treated like a little infant, be rewarmed like that.
Oh,
To just lay there
bro.
and just be like, they're cleaned off.
Like they literally took like a scrub brush and like
Cleaned our entire bodies and rewarmed us. And it was on this table where it had circulating water around the edges, and they would grab the water and bring it up on you.
How good did that feel?
Oh, dude.
it's better than oral sex.
Oh, bro.
That was, well, I mean, I was going to say a hug, but
It is like that too, though, right?
yeah, it was, yeah, that was cool. And then we just, relaxed everything too, and, see our families and.
Bro, so what was it like coming out of your families at that point? Did they think you were
I mean, like my family brought up like a bunch of like Thanksgiving dinner. They brought up turkey, like key lime pie, like the pumpkin pie.
Were you guys still in the hospital?
Yeah.
You guys, so they everybody came to you guys.
Some close friends came up, it was nice.
And, there's this one picture that surfaced around the internet, and it's Matt, myself, and my dad, and we're all just like hunkered out like this, and we're all got our heads together. It was like, he's in the middle, Herb's in the middle. Like, you boys know how lucky you are. As soon as you get out of here, we're gonna smoke so much weed, you boys aren't gonna know what to do. Okay.
Yeah. He's like, you owe me so much money for the weed I used to take single act because of your tomatoes. Your mother's been saying that she's all right crying on the floor, so upset. And they took that picture, and then the newspapers and stuff, they were like, oh, look at this touching moment between, the solemn moment between the father and his son, as well as the son who's going to spend the type thing. And really, we're just all like huddled up there in front of the news reporters talking about smoking. It was great.
It's amazing.
That was hard. It was hard. And here's what I need you boys get out. I need boys to get out. I said that to us, and that meant the world.
Wow.
Because it was like, wow, to have his approval and stuff was, that meant a lot. So,
Wow.
no, it was really cool.
What was it like going back to school?
It was zero like heroes.
It was horrible, though. I didn't like it.
I mean, I didn't like because I had to go back to school and I had to deal with like math and English assignments and all that.
I'm sure everybody knew who you were at that point, right?
Well, everyone knew who we were before. But, like,
right?
we were the crazy bastards who would go out and rock climb, and then this happens, and we return to school.
Yeah, like, during everyone's lunch, like, we'd have up on our stories and stuff. I was just, like, on top of some rock, And then we'd show up late to the class, the next class during our, our law, we had a double lunch. And it was always just shenanigans like that. Like, we already kind of had that reputation, but this was just, like I said, reached national, international.
Like, you guys, we actually had an interview.
Was that?
A couple kids from my high school were fucking on TV and shit, but holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We actually had an interview about it. Almost. Like, we had an invitation to go to Good Morning America.
That would be a big deal.
And, we were going to do it. But the reason why we didn't go on to Good Morning America is because at the same time, Fidel Castro died.
Yeah.
Well, Fidel Castro was bigger news than we were.
So you guys got bumped off?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But,
good little story. And we got some other attention, and we still get attention when we're doing this podcast with you. But the thing for us, again, let's get back to what I was saying earlier, is like, we went into the mountains to get away, and we came back to all these people. All of a sudden, people never cared about me whatsoever. Suddenly care about them. Suddenly do. Teachers, saying things like we were a bad example, and, didn't know what we were doing, full of shit.
So you guys got a lot of shit.
They would have died in that position. They would have actually died. They would have died within the first 5 hours, and they would have cried a slow and painful death because they would have slipped and fallen and been broken. And I remember just distinctively that moment.
So did they give you shit to your face?
Yeah, I won't mention his name, but I had a teacher. And that teacher, man, oh man, I rolled in, because we're in wheelchairs at this point, right? We're in wheelchairs at this point. Roll in, and he's like, oh, them and I, sit there.
You boys know how lucky you are?
So it's kind of like, how was your little camping trip, teasing us? And we're like, I just remember saying, and really just being like, I just want to go on with class, like, this is what I'm choosing to do with my life. I am in love with what I knew to feel out there in the mountains, and you shouldn't judge me. And when you play this game, every 1,000 rolls you're gonna get hurt, and I had already rolled the dice several thousand times. And so, for me, it was just part of playing the game. And other people, I felt like they thought that Tom and I didn't value our lives and we were reckless, and was like, oh.
So I'm sure there was rumors, right? Like the rumor that you guys were ordinary jeans. Even that must have...
Yeah.
Because Emma was in high school together, right?
No, she just went to youth group with me growing up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it unfortunately is just like that aspect of it was kind of a sad situation. But Tom and I were just like, I don't really give a shit what you people think, and so
you don't really know.
Like, I'm just, whoever wants to hear the story and be reasonable and hear from us.
Well, here's another interesting point, man. I won't mention any names, but I had a t-shirt too, and you know who it is. She asked us, like, so now this has happened to you guys. Is there like a rift between you? And we're like, what? What rift? Like, what do you mean? No, like, I mean, if anything, like, the friendship is even stronger because of, like, the survival instinct that's had to take place. And, it's like this great adventure or, like, expedition that, is taking you guys suffering together.
And you have,
yeah,
I'm just saying,
yeah, like I said, stuff for those character, man.
Well, look at what the SEALs do. They make you suffer with a partner. Carry your partner. Drive your partner. Do this with your partner. Why? Because you take care of your partner. Can only carry one man's body. Can't carry two. And so it's like, I could have gone with Conrad Anchor on that mountain, and I might have done. Because I would have been harder with Tom. Like, we were just so much in the same flow as far as like what to do climbing on is that it really wasn't difficult for us to just do what needed to be done and not really have to spend that much time thinking about it.
And there was a brotherhood.
That's why we ended up in the hospital. And that's
Right.
Well, his brother had already been before that, but it was just like instilled.
Yeah.
It was just
and then
like
her pass. I get diagnosed with cancer. You know, the wife leaves. All these things happen in our lives, and you know what? Like at the end of the day, we've always just been to his brother, and two, also like we experienced this thing which is totally lost within today's society amongst young men, and that's to go out and become a man. Like there's always a test of like your manhood, and I felt like this was a gift from God to us. I'm like, okay, are you gonna go find your manhood? Like, are you gonna survive? And we did survive. And on top of that too, the survival really wasn't the climbing or the going on to the rock or the doing this or that or whatever. The survival was humbling ourselves to say that Lord's Prayer. And it took us out of this dark omen that had settled upon us earlier in the trip. It wasn't until we recognized that even though we had been through the hardest part and we had spent the night on the summit, we still ended up in a back valley in need of a savior. And that's what happened to come in the form of a black helicopter, but it directly translates to the human existence. And for me, that story is like, how can I not be close to him? This is a huge pivotal moment in my understanding of not only my life, but like life. You know, I felt like on that mountain, I drifted off into a different existence, a world within a world. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful time.
truly was new.
Is there any part,
Is we back?
is there any parts of you that misses you?
Yes. This is gonna sound really fucked up, but in a very morbid way. You know, I would actually love to relive that experience, but I never want to relive that experience again.
So I heard Jocko, not to interrupt you, bro, but on Jocko and Joe Rogan's podcast, Jocko Welling, you know what I'm talking about? He talks about his time in Ramadi in Iraq, too. And he literally called it the best time of his life. Even though in the moment, I'm sure it wasn't. But when he looks back, that time under fire in a war zone was the best time of his life. Something about that survival feeling, he screamed to us alive.
That's right.
No,
That's where you gotta watch it. At a certain point, we're like, joy is meant to be shared. And I think out by John Krakauer, Into the Wild, great book if you ever read it. I mean, just like life is fleeting. I remember when Herb was about to die, we were in Garden of Gods just kind of talking. And we were talking about I picked a flower off the ground. I said, he's now in part 10. He's got fade away. And I felt like on that mountain, a certain part of me faded away. And
it was the first one I ever relapsed, man.
And that's it was like having died in a weird way. They all that some of that manic having when your body gets to the point where it no longer shivers, you start hallucinating, and then you're just kind of we're just really fortunate to be alive, and we had a lot of people praying for us. We had great search and rescue to support us. We got really fortunate, and we made mistakes. We weren't carrying the proper gear. We should have had a bit more with us, and we understand that. We know that. As far as while we were climbing, we had a good amount of gear at the base camp. To just anytime pushing yourself up against weather, you're taking a gamble, because only a fool can predict the weather, right? And so, we did make our mistakes, but, at one point, Dan Smith, the president at the time of Vail Mountain Search and Rescue, said for every 10 mistakes you made, you made, well, let's say you made one decision that was right, which was so valuable, it saved your asses. And it was like, at least we made that decision. We may have done some things wrong, but we stayed calm. And, that's now we're at a great we got a great opportunity because we can share with people about backcountry safety, especially if people are new to it or young and just getting into it. And, the mountains are a crazy thing, dude. And this story was a crazy time, but, I think the Mandalorian and I both would agree that we wish we could be back up there. I've always wanted to know, had I not been safe, could I have walked out that 3-4 days and gotten out? That would have been still amazing, but that just wasn't how God wanted it to happen. So, at one point after, I even wanted to live up there for a winter in that background because I was so dumbfounded by those co-friends. I just wanted to sit about my money and camp right there back in that valley.
Oh, yeah.
Figure out what the heck was going on.
So you said that like a poor you died on the mountain.
That's what part of it's definitely down to that mountain, man. I don't want to say it was our inner child because you never want to lose sense of that inner child, but it was like Matt said, it's a test for you to become a man. And it's like, okay, yeah. Are you tough enough to be able to withstand the trials and tribulations that life will throw at you? Can you make out the different things that have to go on, the battles, the trials that you have to face that make it all worth it? And the tribulations, man. It's like, you look at everything that's done. That's why you want to live in that valley. It's because it's where it all came to fruition.
Yeah, that's what I said. Shh, be quiet. Even the tree is on her side, right? It's like we have to really sit up at the end of the day and figure out what we need to do as humans and what's important. And when you're put into a situation like that and you've allowed yourself to end up in a situation like that, you get a big perspective on life really freaking quick. And I think part of the feeling like you died, not only physically, but just because I got so cold, I was like, I didn't know if I was going to wake up. I didn't think so. I just knew once I stopped shivering that just with having wanted to go into emergency medicine and stuff, and always been interested in that, and first responder type, stuff. I just have always known that we get to a point where we stop shivering. I think it's once your internal core body temp reaches 86 or 84 degrees Fahrenheit. Once you dip down below that, that's once you hit that 80 threshold, you're pretty low dead. And if you look at exposure times and how long a human can be out within that sort of temperature, we were way over it. And so, to me, it was just so many things that don't make sense, and really, it's just the grace of God. And it is just war when I fan, I've always said that. I think that He saved us through that night, and He gave us the strength to get to that position, to get down from that position. But if there was a death, if I felt like I died, I felt like I had a huge ego death on that trip with Beth. Yep. Laying there on that summit thinking I don't know if I said I love me to my parents.
How's that for a slice of them by it?
Yeah. Wish it would have been my dog once more, getting my sister a hug. But I'm here with his feet shoved in my freaking armpits. And it was a debate because it's okay, do I want to have my head in here so that I can keep my eyes warm enough so that the capillaries don't freeze, or do I want to, do I want to have them freeze, or do I want to be in here to keep them warm, but I have to smell his freaking feet? It's horrible.
They with you,
It's the most humbling experience. It's okay. Things are
never blew through my mind. They never times we told this story to each other. You always boast about how bad my feet always smell worse than yours. It's
so funny.
It's a conundrum, dude. I think that might actually be almost like the moral of the story. It doesn't matter how bad it smells. It's still shit. But shit is a byproduct of life because you eat what you make. And life is made to be this beautiful thing, dude. Food is meant to be prepared. It's meant to be enjoyed. And that's what mountaineering is, dude. And that is a very backwards metaphor for it, but
Yeah, that made no sense. But
I feel like that tied the whole podcast together. With what? Yeah, that's it right there. I think that's just it.
I mean, dude, it's been a pleasure talking with you guys and sharing the story.
thank you so much, Mike, for having us on, dude.
Thank
Like,
you guys for sharing
I
the
mean-
fucking crazy ass story with me.
Dude, it was an interesting time. It's so fun to tell a long format with whiskey.
oh, dude, it's the best. Cheers, boys. Cheers.
boys.
Like, it doesn't get much better than that. Truly.
Cheers.